Welcome to the Mom Founders Table. Pull up a chair and join me every week as I become your thought partner and help you lead to create change. I'm your host, Kelsey Kenry, entrepreneur, millionaire mom of three, and strategic business coach for established mom entrepreneurs. Every week, you will get tactical guidance to apply to your business, leadership, and life that will help you further your true success while also being invited into a new way of thinking and being that creates true freedom. I'm here to call you out and call you up, so take a seat and let's begin. Welcome back to another episode of the Mom Founders Table. And a few weeks ago, I asked on my new Instagram for you guys to tell me what you wanted to put on the podcast. So first and foremost, if you listen to this podcast and you're like, I would really love if she talked about this topic, or I keep having the same problem in my business or with my team or whatever it is, you can literally send me a message and be like, Kelsey, can you please talk about this on your podcast? And I will. Like, if I haven't made it apparent enough yet, like, I love people. I love talking to people. And if I can help, I will. Like, that's just who I am. So full permission for you to be like, Kelsey, fix my life. So I dropped a little question box on Instagram. I was like, what do you guys want me to talk about? And what's funny is the first two answers were exactly the same. I'm actually going to pull this up right now and tell you guys the first two answers that came in were, where are the premium clients hiding, and how to find more clients that can afford my services. So let's talk about it, because I think the elephant in the room here is that behind the scenes, most people are looking for clients that want to pay more for their services. Here's the caveat to that. Those people that they're looking for are not going to be found in just them looking for them. Because when we are thinking about attracting a client who has the extra funds to afford something that is a luxury type of model, right? And even if you're not a luxury type of model, like, what I want to talk about today is like really just how to attract more clients overall. But I do want to address the reality of like pricing and being high ticket as somebody who is high ticket. So like, if we think about my services, and you may not know this, but I'm very big on like price transparency, because after 15 years, I'm not going to use my energy to convince you to hire me. I will walk through obstacles. I will help you to think differently. I will address your concerns. I will make sure that you feel empowered and supported in hiring me, and that you're clear on like what we're going to be doing and what you're going to get and all of those things. But like, so if we're working my VIP level, which is my like all in, that includes my VIP day, it includes my 4-night retreat, it includes 2 monthly calls with me, it includes back pocket voice and text access, it includes me training your team every quarter, depending on what we're working on, like top tier, highest touch. This is $70,000 a year. And the reason why it is that cost is that if you were to look at like your org chart, right, and you're laying out your team, I am right there at the top next to you, because I'm functioning as not just a thought partner to walk through challenges and obstacles and help you to fix issues, but I'm also operating as a strategic partner to where I'm thinking about your long-term growth and what we need to install or change or fix in the business for you to be successful long-term. So it's like I'm essentially in your business with you. And that's how I always try to frame it, is like most people who call themselves a business coach or advisor don't do what I do at the level that I do. And that is part of attracting premium clients, is your confidence level in what you do. I think that my pricing is well worth it. I think that a lot of people actually charge more and deliver less results and less of an experience than I do. But my pricing feels aligned with me. So all of that being said, I do have options. Like I do an intensive that's $2,500. So I have more, I don't like this word, but like accessible options, right? Because there are people that are just like, I want to kind of test drive you before I go all in. And I get that, especially in my industry. So I'm sharing this with you because I think that as somebody who has been operating as a high ticket advisor for many, many years now, when I wasn't, right, there's a lot of fear about increasing our pricing. And what happens is that we increase our prices and we're so focused on trying to find those people that will pay our prices that we forget about doing the work on ourselves to actually believe that we're worth somebody paying that for. Right? To where we are so in our heads about like, oh my gosh, is anyone going to pay this? That we're naturally sending out that energy to where that's coming from like a belief that somebody's not going to pay for that. Whereas when we raise our pricing from a place of like, you know what? Like for me, I'm like, I've been doing this for 15 years. At this point, I've racked up so many different industries that I have helped scale and grow and reduce workload and rebuild relationships and help them become more present moms. Like, I know what the fuck I'm doing and I'm really good at it. So the price is the price, right? And so, but that's the reason why like I can stand so firm in that, because I'm so confident in who I am, in the way that I deliver, in the way that I treat people, in my customer service, and the way that I deeply care, in the way that I'm detail oriented, and the way that I've structured my team to actually help me deliver on things that like most people don't. Like we'll build out full processes and SOPs and help you hire. Like most people are not going to that level. They're just simply advising on strategy. So my model is different and I'm really confident in that model. So to me, the pricing feels very aligned. So I think the first thing that I would have you think about is if you raise your prices and you're trying to attract more clients, is are you somebody that's actually attracting them? Are you a person who knows like you have to really think you're the shit? Like you have to really be bought into what you're selling. Like how good do you really think you are? And not from a place of ego, but a place of confidence of like, yeah, like that's why a lot of times I'll just be like, yeah, I see what you got going on there. Like just let me fix it. Like I just hand it to me and let me fix it because I know that I can. And so there's a level of confidence that is at play here. And I think that's our first place that we need to be looking is like, okay, if we are stretching ourselves in our pricing and we have, we've up leveled our pricing a bit and it feels a little bit uncomfortable and we're kind of questioning that and we haven't yet built the confidence, how can we source that from other areas? So even thinking about like as a woman, what makes you feel confident? Like for me, this is why like when I'm in deep seasons of change or up level, I'm leaning even harder into my workouts, like making sure that I'm getting dressed, putting makeup on, like presenting myself, because like that is all part of confidence and all of it works together. So I think that's the first area that you want to look at is like, are you confident in what you are selling? Do you think that you are the shit at what you do? And if not, what do you need to change to think that? The second place that we have to look that most people won't tell you is your worthiness, right? So these things are connected because if you don't actually feel like, if I'm not open to receiving somebody paying me $70,000 right now, if I don't believe I can deliver on that, if I don't believe that I'm worthy of having that number in my bank account or whatever it is, I'm going to repel that. I'm not going to attract it, right? Because this is what this is all about. It's like you want to attract more high level clients. If you want to attract people that aren't questioning your pricing as much, if you want to truly, then like you got to be that person. You got to think that you're worthy of receiving that. And you have to be open to receive, which a lot of us are closed off from, especially because we function, myself included, we function so much in our masculine. Like my strategic brain is all masculine, right? To where I'm like, this is what it needs to look like. These are the details. And that serves me really well because it does really fucking cool things for me and my clients. At the same time, though, that can block me from receiving because that is all about giving to other people and providing that strategy. And so I can lean heavy into that all day long. And so I have to remind myself of like, okay, what does it look like to lean back? What does it look like to be in a position where I'm open to receive? I'm so ready and willing for people to pay me high amounts of money because I am that good. I'm prepared for it, right? So do you feel worthy of receiving money? And how are you currently stewarding your money? I have a lot of people that will make a lot of money, but they internally know that they're not good stewards of money. And so they don't evaluate their behaviors and their patterns with money. Like for me, because I grew up in scarcity, I was such a hoarder. I was so afraid to spend. And because I was so afraid to spend, I would not invest in things that would help me to grow faster or to identify my blind spots, which are the best places you could invest, which is why, like, every single one of my clients is like, I wish I would have hired you sooner, because I'm like, you're just delaying the inevitable, right? Like you're just causing yourself more suffering and more pain because you're trying to see things that you literally can't see. And you're trying to create solutions for things you don't know how to fix. Like that is my job. And I'll say it to my clients now, like when they kind of go back into that hyper independent state, I'm like, hey, let's be open to receive here. Like you're trying to do my job. Let me do it. You know what I mean? And so we have to feel worthy of receiving. We have to feel worthy of receiving and holding high amounts of money. We have to feel confident in our ability to steward that money to create wealth. If we know that like every time we get money, we go out and blow it all, like we subconsciously and probably consciously know that. And so that can repel the amount of money that we're actually holding, which then prevents us from being able to create wealth, which our businesses should do, right? This is why I want you to have a highly profitable business, because I want you to take that profit and I want you to invest that in things that are going to better your life. So that's these are like the two like energetic areas that I would look at, is like your confidence in your worthiness. On a more tactical level, the areas that I want you to look at are always messaging is going to be first, right? Like, because what we are saying and how we are saying it in a world that is oversaturated with media where we are being sold to all the time, what we're saying and how we're saying it is really, really important. And so as much as people really emphasize quantity, especially on social media platforms, I believe that there is a balance of quantity for visibility that has to be mixed with quality for people to move to the next thing, whether that's engaging or clicking a link or whatever. And so I think that your messaging being really clear of like what you're delivering, like for me, my messaging was always such a struggle because like a lot of business coaches can be generalists, right? Like we work in a lot of different areas. It's like when you go and hire a social media management person, right? You know what they're doing. They're focusing on your social media. Whereas when you hire me, I have to look at your team. I have to look at your offers, your delivery model. I have to look at the structure of your team, the strengths of your people, what your gaps are. I have to look at the processes, including your marketing and your sales processes, because I want things functioning. I have to take that holistic view. And so sometimes if you are somebody who is more holistic in that manner, it can kind of work against you. Like I have some chiropractic clinics that also do holistic wellness. And it's like, because they're doing so many different things, it's hard for us to be specific. And when it comes to marketing, a lot of people, like what is rewarded and what typically helps people move is specificity. And so you have to find your specificity. And so a lot of times our messaging and the specificity that can be found is not in the demographics of our clients, but the psychographics of our clients, who we are actually speaking to, what their lives look like. I will have clients do when we're looking at marketing and we're saying like, okay, when we look at the business as a whole, obviously one of the functions that we're looking at is, in order to increase our profitability, we need to increase our revenue without trying to increase our expenses. And so to do that, we need more sales, we need more people, and we need the right pricing. So when I look at is our current marketing funnels feeding our sales funnels? I have to look at every step in that process. And where I see a lot of drop off for people is they're putting a lot into marketing that's not feeding their sales funnel. And the problem that's happening there is that our messaging is not specific enough to speak to the people that we want to call in. And so my question to you around this, and for you to think about, is Can you write down, put yourself in the seat of your client and write down a full day in their life? When they wake up, what are the thoughts that they're having? What are their behaviors? What are the things that they're saying out loud? What are the things that they're saying in their head? What are the things that the emotions that they're feeling, but also the things that they're doing? Because the more that you can speak to those things, the more people feel like, she sees me. She understands where I'm at. So no matter if you're selling, I have studio owners, I have chiropractics, I have designers, I have people across all service-based industries, but it's the same of like, what is your ideal client currently experiencing? Because for me, I'm going to work in a variety of areas in your business, but a lot of people don't necessarily care about like the features that I'm offering and even like the places that I'm going to touch as much as like what sort of outcome is that going to deliver for them. And so it's always been for me about like really trying to get more and more specific. So for me, it's like my clientele are female founders who are also mothers that want to be mothers, and they are stuck right now. They're stuck between, them being the providers and having financial abundance and also wanting to grow those finances, while also feeling stuck in a model of business and running their business in a way that's not currently serving them or their life. And so when I think about that client, I think about, okay, so she is waking up in the morning and she's thinking about all the to-dos that she has. And she's probably feeling some guilt around having to miss something with her kids. And she's probably feeling the distance between her and her partner. And she's kind of suppressing that because she's so busy in her business. And she's having these moments where she recognizes, this isn't serving me, this doesn't feel good, but she feels stuck because of what it's providing financially. So messaging is going to be really shifting messaging and getting more clear and more specific, even calling out specific moments, right? So something that's really great that like you can see on my new Instagram is like, we've been really experimenting with getting like hyper specific. And you'll see that the hyper specific posts where we call out certain moments in time are the ones that get the most response. Where I was talking, I think I made one and it was like, just, thinking about how we used to like scrub our faces off with apricot scrub and drink malt liquor from the gas station and like go out and like drink on people's properties in the middle of nowhere. And like now we're building businesses and like changing people's lives and creating this impact. Like just the crazy polarization between the two things, right? To where it's like, we were hot messes, like us millennials. So what can you clean up in your messaging that when you are producing marketing assets, whether that is emails or social media or website, that's like, okay, I can clearly understand who she serves and how she serves them and what she does. And I feel really seen and heard, because that's the other thing, is that we have to even get people to entertain buying from us, they have to trust us. And one of the things that closes the trust gap is obviously referrals from somebody who's worked with us, which is why providing a good customer experience is really, really important. But also for us to have this specificity of like, I will have clients that are like, oh my gosh, are you in my head? Do you live with me? Like I just said that the other day. And so how can you create that for your clients? So messaging is going to be a huge part of this, right? And I think sometimes like not shying away from like where we know our expertise lies. And I think, I have worked with women that are just starting all the way to women that are running, multiple 7-figure businesses, and they're drastically different problems. And so I had to get really honest with myself about like, what problems do I really enjoy solving? You know what I mean? And where does my expertise really lie? And being honest with myself about like, I didn't want to leave people behind. Right. So I felt really guilty about like not working with like new stage entrepreneurs anymore. And then I realized I'm like, that's okay. Right. Like, and I can still help those people, whether it's through a VIP day or an intensive to build. I have a VIP day coming up, and she's a very successful woman that has other businesses, but she wants to build a completely new revenue stream. And so we're doing a full brand development, messaging, marketing systems, all those things. So getting over like your fear of your fear of what will happen if you're not for everyone, right? Because trying to be for everyone is the same thing that's probably keeping you stuck. And it's something that definitely kept me stuck. So messaging, obviously, and infusing, making sure that your messaging is properly infused into your marketing. I love ChatGPT and all the AI tools that we have, but I think that outsourcing our creativity and our writing to AI all the time is not great. Like having it write for us, I think that we can utilize AI in a different way where, if you are the origin of the information that you are teaching or the story that you're telling, it's different, right? It's still going to have some weird ChatGPT stuff, whatever. I'm not saying don't use AI, because I know that like efficiency wise and time wise, it really helps a lot of people. What I'm saying is don't let AI think for you. Don't let AI be the origin of your marketing, because that's where it really starts to fall flat, right? You can, even something as simple as, I've had ChatGPT write captions for me, but I will voice note in there about like, here's what I want to teach them, and here's my principles, and here's the steps I do with clients, and da 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 da, and just have it more format things. There are ways to use it to where we can still be efficient, again, without outsourcing our creative brain. And I think that that's a big piece of marketing right now, to where I know for me personally, as soon as it has like the "you're not broken" or like the phrases that it says across the board, I just instantly shut down. And so if I feel that way, I know that there's probably a lot of people that do. So just being intentional, right, with what we're putting out, because again, I think there's a fine line between just producing to produce and be visible, but like we could be really visible but nobody could engage. It could not resonate emotionally with people. It could not be clear. You can put a lot of content out there that does nothing. So I would lean on the side of quality over things, to where if you put out, even a couple posts a week, but they are so well done and they make people feel seen and heard and understood, and they're very specific to your client, or they're teaching something that your client really needs, you're going to get better feedback, and that's more likely to feed your sales funnel. Messaging, and making sure messaging is correctly infused into your marketing. And then another tactical thing that we need to be thinking about to serve clients at a higher level is, if you really think about, like for my clients are, because they're so busy, they're hard to get a hold of, right? To where they're not people that are necessarily sitting on an app, reading every caption, writing notes of what I'm teaching them. Like they're stuck in the day-to-day of their business. And so for me, what I figured out is like, you just have to be in the room with them. Once people connect with me, once I have a conversation with them, they're like, okay, Kelsey can save my life. So let's just do it, And so this is why I get a lot of referrals. And so I think for you, really thinking about, again, like, where is your client? What are they doing? And like, can you go be there and have a conversation with them? This is another reason why I built City Girls, actually, is to give people opportunities to have those kinds of conversations, because we're across all industries. So we can have, one of our women that is she's one of our women that was in Sarasota owns a birth center, right? And then I have another one that owns a chiropractic clinic, and like they can easily collaborate, but like getting them to meet and getting them to have a conversation together. So I think it's really just thinking about that, is kind of getting out of the short-sightedness. And I hate to say this, but I think it's a little bit true. I think that social media is an amazing tool, but I think it's created a little bit of like ego, in that like we think that we don't have to put effort in to get clients, and like you should, right? Like for me, I have done like full Loom presentations of like, okay, based upon what you told me, like here are some initial changes, here's how I'm seeing things go, to draw to create that bridge from like where they are to where they want to be, so that they can visualize that. So I think really thinking about, where is your client? And if they are somebody that's really busy, are you putting yourself in front of them, right? Does that mean that you need to do more speaking? Are they listening to podcasts? Like being intentional about like where you're spending your time, because if you're not, then you're probably just going to keep looping, and you're like, well, why isn't this bringing me clients? It's like, are your clients there? Are your clients on the other end of where you're putting your effort into? So again, like I can't say it enough, but like if you are trying to work with women that are established in business, then you need to be in rooms where those women are. City Girls is one of them. So that's something to think about, is just making sure that you are putting yourself in front of your clientele and being clear about like where they are and not trying to rush things, right? To where like I can have a really long sales cycle. Some people will follow me for like a year before they hire me. And I don't expect that. Like, I've had people who see me speak one time and hire me the next week. And I've had people who take a year or more, right? To where a VIP day, the VIP day that I'm doing with the brand development that's coming up, she's followed me and my family for years. And she's like, I know that like you're ethical and you're in integrity, and I love what you have built with your brand and I want your help. So I think there's that piece too of just not rushing it, right? Like not trying to force. Like I will always conversate and reach out to people and have intentional conversations. But at the end of the day, like people have to make those choices. So be in the places where your ideal client is and be a person that your ideal client wants to work with, and deliver a service that is worth paying for. That's really what it comes down to. So I would invite you, of course, if you have not gotten tickets to City Girls, to definitely plug in there. And then the other thing that I would say is, looking at your services and like what your model is for services as well. Because sometimes that can change, like the way that you deliver, the frequency, the cadence, like how you structure things. I know for me, shifting to my model to where I do the VIP day up front has been such a game changer. And like tons of people have copied me since I did this, because a lot of people, when you hire like a coach or advisor, they're spending like 6 months trying to figure out what's going on in your business and learn your business. And I'm like, no, I'm doing all of that up front so that the time that we're spending together, we're actually getting shit done. So it's things like that, to where you just really have to put yourself in the seat of your client and like, what is best for them? And then how can I provide that in a way that is going to actually work, the result that they're trying to get. Once again, we will drop the link for City Girls so you can secure your ticket there if you haven't already. And then we'll also drop the link to my interest form. So if you're somebody who is listening, who is like, I have the desire for growth and I want to make sure that I do it in a way that honors like having a life outside of my business. I want to make sure that I'm setting things up correctly or resetting things, right? Like you are likely established and in business and you're realizing that like your current model isn't serving you or you've outgrown it. This is something that I can fix. So if you're interested in working together and having me come inside your business to revamp, remodel, to introduce more profitability and pull back on your working hours, we're going to drop the link for my interest form as well in the show notes so you can fill that out. Once again, there's no pressure. This is not an application for anything. This is literally just us seeing, okay, where are you and what would be the best fit services for you, and an opportunity to connect and move forward if you want to. So that will be there in the show notes for you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for throwing this question. I have some other questions that I'm going to be answering on other episodes, but again, full permission to just be like, Kelsey, solve this problem for me. And I'll absolutely record an episode for you. So thank you again for listening, and I'll see you guys next week.